Today's episode is brought to you by Fretboard Biology, the comprehensive online guitar course put together by Joe Elliott. Now, Joe is not only a fantastic guitar player, he draws on his years of experience as the ex-head of guitar at the Guitar Institute of Technology and also at the McNally Smith Music College. Here's a few words from Joe about the course.
You're tired of wading through hundreds of random guitar videos and just want to become a better player. Fretboard Biology is your answer. Fretboard Biology is a self-paced, college-level program that'll give you the right instruction, in the right amounts, and in the right order. You'll learn the same information I taught to thousands of other guitar players over 30 years of teaching in top music colleges. If you want to make real progress with your guitar playing, then sign up for a free 7-day trial at fretboardbiology.com.
Hi there, you are listening to the Guitar Speak podcast. My name's Matt Wakeling, and this is the show that I produce in Sydney, Australia, speaking to leading guitarists from all around the world. And I've been doing this since 2016. Thanks so much for tuning in for episode number 209. Now today I'm speaking to Australian guitarist Dave Leslie, founding member and lead guitarist of the legendary Aussie rock band The Baby Animals. We talk about the BAs, as Dave calls them, in this episode, but also about a very exciting new project Dave is involved in, a band called Truck. Equally rocking hard, but with a different kind of approach, so it was really fun to catch up with Dave and hear all about it. Dave is super passionate about playing guitar, as you'll hear, and it's always fun and inspiring to have him on the show. Now, I should note, since we recorded this episode, Truck has released some additional music than the tracks we discuss here, so please check out the links in the show notes to be super up to date. All right, let's jump straight in. Dave Leslie, welcome back to the Guitar Speak podcast.
Thanks very much for having us, Matt. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Oh man, cool to have you. I was checking the dates today. I couldn't believe it. It was almost 4 years ago that we first had you on the show, and that was such a cool interview. I remember a lot of listeners really enjoyed hearing the Dave Leslie backstory. So nice to have you. Nice to have you back to check in. What's been happening?
Thanks.
Hey, what the big news, I guess, for you, especially in the last few months, has been the band Truck. So yeah, my first question to you, Dave, and I'm really playing the devil's advocate here, but you already play in a little rock and roll band some people might have heard of called the Baby Animals. Why start a new band? What's the attraction? What do you get out of launching a new band now?
That's a pretty good question, because a lot of people, my loved ones and kids and so forth, have asked me the same thing, like, why at your age, in this current climate, in these unprecedented times, would you go and try and get an original band off the ground?
Uh-huh.
It's funny because this band had been going for probably a year before I jumped on board, and our sound guy Ricky Ray, Baby Animals sound guy, tour manager, and also who we record with, came. We'll sit next to each other on a plane. We talk about our weeks, and he said, "Man, I've got this band in the studio. You'd love them. Truck, it's Andy from Horsehead. It's Kev from Josie Jason, and a couple of other guys. Man, you would love them." I'm like, "Oh, really?" And he was raving about them. Right? They're just like old school rock and roll, guitar, bass, drums, organ, piano, vocals. He said they're kind of like the Faces, like the Black Crows. I think, okay, so I got a call quite a few months later, and it was Kev, the bass player, saying that their guitar player had up and left, and they've got these gigs booked, and could I just jump in and fill in? And I'm like, well, you guys are already on my radar, so I'm absolutely interested. And so, send me some songs, and I listened to the songs. I'm like, yeah, man, this is really good. So he did the gigs, and I just think at the end of about the third or so gig, I'm like, if you don't mind not having to look for anybody, then I'm more than happy to jump in,
Awesome.
And so it's been like that ever since. It's probably a good year ago now, maybe a year and a couple of months. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's been awesome. It's a great vehicle. It's not kind of Baby Animals type of songs. It's old school. It's more kind of, I don't know, for what primary colours, old school riffs and things like that, and a few open tunings, a few kind of Stonesy sounding things. And it's just great having an organ player, a piano organ player in the band. Because then my role then is not to fill up all the holes. Like Baby Animals, it's essentially a three-piece band with, Sue's playing guitar and things like that. But my role is to fill up a lot of sonic space. Whereas this band, I can embellish. I can sit on top of the organ or whatever, you know what I mean, and embellish. And so your tone changes, your whole approach to the whole gig changes. I don't have to bang away the whole night because there's other people doing it,
Yeah, cool.
So it's been really refreshing. It's been really good. Yeah.
That's awesome. What was your history with the guys? Did you know any of these guys? Did you know Andy in the lead up?
I knew, Horsehead used to do gigs with Baby Animals back in the day.
Oh, wow.
92, 93, something like that. We went on tour with Horsehead.
Okay.
And what a lovely fella, he's such a sweet dude and a killer singer. So we hadn't really kept in touch. We got on great on the road and everything. Mm-hmm. But it's funny how, lives, you do different things and all that sort of stuff. And so we hadn't really been in touch. But, I knew that he was involved. And when I heard it, I'm like, yeah, man, this is really good. This is very cool. So, I spotted the opportunity and jumped in. And it's like being in your first band again. There's there's no money in it. It's a pure love job.
Yeah.
You have to pay for everything from everything.
Yeah.
You've got to load your own gear. So, as a result of that, I'm, using a Fender 112. We don't do rehearsals. We do band practice. So every Wednesday night we go, hey, I'll see you at practice. And so we get together every Wednesday night and do band practice. Sometimes it's lounge rooms. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's rehearsal room, rehearsal studios, loud stuff. Other times it's writing sessions. Tomorrow night it's getting together and doing BVs on a recent recording that we've done. It's that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And it sounds like...
Sorry?
Yeah, it sounds like you're having a great time. I was going to say, are you enjoying the regular weekly chopping off part of the job? Like you said, the rehearsals or the BVs or the whatevers.
Working on ideas, you work up something at home or something and send it to the boys on WhatsApp and then get together on Wednesday night and bang through it. And, lo and behold, on a good night, it becomes, you've done it. It's got a shape, it's got lyrics, it's got this, it's got an arrangement. Bingo, another song. Thanks very much. And of course, as soon as you play it live, it'll start to evolve like they do. But it's that process is refreshing. It's good. It's what bands are all about, I guess,
Yeah, cool.
And back in the early Baby Animals days, it was our full-time job. Mm-hmm. So we would get together every day, like a 9 to 5 kind of thing at people's houses or do whatever and work on ideas. I mean, it's a little bit difficult to do that now. But this one has kind of lit another fire underneath me, not that the old one ever went out. But
sure,
yeah. Been good. Yeah.
I remember you saying when we spoke back in 2018 too, you loved, obviously, the Baby Animals gigs and that they've continued, but you love jumping in with other bands. You love doing sub gigs in cover bands, or it just seemed like you loved getting on stage with a guitar any chance you got, and that was still a big part of your life, which I loved hearing that. That was really cool.
It kind of keeps you fresh. I moved to Melbourne about 8 years ago, and I've never learnt so many songs since I've been here, man. Far out. It's been a big learn. Yeah, for covers, there's corporate, there's all sorts of weird stuff. I even did a stint in Beyond Again. I got one gig under my satin sash belt.
That's great.
Yeah, interesting. It just keeps you playing fresh. I find the older I get, though, the harder it is to remember stuff.
Okay.
It's like the Homer Simpson. Every time you learn something new, it pushes something old out. Can't retain it all.
Right.
But, generally, it's been pretty good. I've filled in for a couple of the guys in Electric Mary on different occasions.
Yeah, awesome.
That's great because it's like standing in front of a jumbo jet taking off, that band. And so it's great experiences. Yeah.
That's cool. Now, with Truck, you guys have released 2 singles. So Make Hay came out late last year. Lucky has just been launched in the last few weeks, I think last couple of weeks, which is great. For me, just listening, I love the tunes. To me, they sounded such a cool mix of like they were tough rock and roll songs, but really feel good as well. Like great melodies. Make Hay, it's got that. It's almost, you're talking about the Stones and the Faces. It struck me as like early Purple a little bit too, especially with Mark Donaldson, your keys player you mentioned, on that dirty organ. That's such a cool thing.
That is great fun, because it's like having another guitar player, but it's a different kind of quality, you know? Make Hay's got like a bit of a Spencer Davis group kind of thing to it, you know? So it's all pretty kind of old school, you know, old school rock. But yeah, there's a good feeling that the third single that we've got, Unconventionally Rising, is very Purple.
Okay.
Yeah, that's our kind of ode to Deep Purple. It's fat, it's riffy. Yeah. It's got, you know, a bass break. It's got a band solo. You know, sometimes the band, we don't do individual solos. We'll all play a riff or something and do like a whole band solo. We just jump on this one thing. That's cool. And that's cool, man. You know, when that happens, it's a good feeling. Yeah.
Were you involved in the writing for those tunes, or were they part of the batch of songs that had already...
These ones were kind of there when I got there. Mm-hmm. And the guitar parts, I kind of recreated most of what was already there, because that was the way the song went. I didn't want to change it just for the sake of like, so it's me, so I'll do it differently to what the old guy did.
Yeah.
Justin, he's a great guitar player, man, and there was no reason for me to mess with those parts, you know. But the new stuff, there's tons of new stuff being written, and I think it's got a fair bit of me all over it.
That's great, man. That's cool. What's the plan? So it sounds like you're writing a lot, recording a lot.
Yeah, well, we were shooting for world domination, but I think we'd be happy with cult status.
Sure.
I think, yeah. No, well, the plan is we've done an album's worth of stuff. So we're going to parlay that. We've released a limited edition EP. We're going to add to that EP, box it up as an album for overseas and things like that, and call it the album. Yep. In the meantime, we've got an album plus of stuff ready to record, stuff that we've been playing live, so it's kind of bashed into shape. And we're just looking at maybe doing that sometime this year.
Yeah, great.
You know, financially depending, so, we'll see how we go and all that sort of stuff, because we don't have labels throwing money at us anymore.
Sure.
When we were signed to a great label, Reckless Records, which is James Rain and Scott Crawford, their label, so they're kind of looking after us. And I think Dave through Nicole has set this up with you, man. I'm extremely grateful.
Yeah, cool, awesome.
And but still, we'll see how we go. The songs are there. Yeah. So there's no shortage of that, and there's stuff bubbling to the surface all the time.
And you guys have been playing a bunch of gigs. We were just saying before I started recording, I missed you in Sydney because I was out of town for some gigs. But so you've obviously got a whole set of stuff you're working on too. So I guess, like you said, what was the term? The songs have been bashed up, taking them out on the road.
Bash into shape, into
shape. That's a pretty fun way to...
Yeah, nothing bashes the song into shape more than playing it in front of an audience, you know what I mean? Because it's very evident the bits that don't work and the bits that do work.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So we actually, last Thursday night, Truck supported Baby Animals at the Factory Theatre. So that was an interesting dynamic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was strange because I'm used to just getting to the gig and focusing on one thing. There's sound check, or there's that, and that's that set. And now it's like, okay, I've got 2 sound checks to go. We've got to do this, got to do that, got to bring 2 shirts, a change of clothing, bring the old Baby Animals hair wig out and put that on for the second set. But it was good because the Truck played great, and the BA, there was quite a few people there to see us, that's kind of like, the audience that we just want people who like good music. And so we were very fortunate to have done that.
Yeah,
it was really cool fun. Yeah,
you mentioned.
So subsequently, I was warmed up by the end of the Truck set. I was good to go.
Oh, I bet, man, pulling double shift there.
Double shift.
This episode is brought to you by Fretboard Biology, the comprehensive online guitar course put together by Joe Elliott, ex-head of guitar at the Guitar Institute of Technology and the McNally Smith College of Music. I was one of the beta testers for the course and can say as a music educator, I was really impressed by the logical sequence of learning. The course has also been endorsed by players such as Brett Garsed and Greg Koch. For more details, check out the links in our show notes. You mentioned earlier when you talk again about Mark, working with a keys player in the band, you bring a different tone, a different approach. For that gig, are you, you're playing wood shift gears, but in terms of your gear and your rig and tones you're dialing in, are they going to be separate for that gig?
It has changed as a result of that, because I was using the Fractal AX8 before with BAs.
Yeah.
Ease of expediency on tour. It's like, you send a send to an amp on stage, send your stereo, sends to front of house. Everything's exactly the same as it was when you pressed Apple S, to save your patches and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then so I went and had a jam with Truck, and I'm thinking to myself, they're not really a Fractal sort of band.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? This is a pedal board SG sort of band, sort of thing. So I put an old board together and everything like that, and then kind of just stuck with it. Really, I tweak it a little bit for BA's songs, but I've sort of gone back to pedals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Come back from the dark side. Not completely analog. I'm still running a Line 6 M9, Swiss Army knife, which I really love.
You've had that for ages, yeah.
Yeah, they're fine too, man. They're good. They've got a tuner. They've got a noise gate.
Yep.
The drive's a bit iffy, but everything else is great.
Yeah, man. I gigged with an M13 for years with that and just a couple of analog drives. Loved it. And I've still got an M5 on my board these days, just in case. It's so cool.
Yeah, the M13 would have been good because it's got an effects loop, so you can run a four cable way through an amp, which you can't do on the M9. You can run it in a loop, I guess, which is fair enough. But everything just goes into the front these days.
Yeah, right. Nice.
You can clean valve platform and just hit it. Yeah,
beautiful. What else is on the board?
We are finishing off these extra songs for the Truck record. Susan and I are still toing and froing with songs for BAs because, ideally we did an album called This Is Not the End about 10 years ago, and we'd really like to stick with that sentiment.
That thing, yes.
And do another one at some point. That would be really good 10 years plus later. Just writing and playing. There's a whole bunch of Truck stuff coming up. We've got Rose Tattoo supports in Adelaide. Awesome. Baby Animals are doing a tour in July, August, and Truck's going out on the road doing that. So it's working double time for the whole run.
Yeah,
but everyone gets on great. It was like one big happy family backstage the other night. It was really cool.
Oh, that's so cool, man. That's great.
Yeah.
And the Baby Animals, you guys have been playing stacks. So when you say in terms of new songs, I guess that's what you're working on. That's a hope as well to get some new recorded stuff out. Great.
Well, hopefully when we do our own tour where we get to do things like sound check and all that sort of stuff, where you can bash ideas into shape in the afternoon, and that's a really good, I think, opportunity to just bring something along and have a hit through and do that and get sound check. But you don't do that in Red Hot Summer, man. It's like a conveyor belt.
Yeah, right.
You're in for 40 minutes and bang, man, you're in, on, off, out, kind of thing. Yeah. Still good fun. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I saw a post on Facebook or somewhere that your gear didn't arrive at the gig on the Red Hot Summer Tour quite as quickly as you arrived at the gig, and you had to borrow a bunch of gear. What happened there?
Yeah, Melbourne Airport was having a Ramsay's Kitchen nightmare, I think, on the day, and there was people having meltdowns. And we you take your gear around the corner to go to oversize, and it was like a queue of trolleys and gear and all sorts of stuff. And I was thinking, man, it was such a big lineup, and our flight was leaving in kind of 15 minutes, which it didn't end up because it sat on everything was running late. Yeah. And so, lo and behold, we get to Tassie, to Launceston. Our gear doesn't come off the belt. Oh, good. Oh, that'll be interesting then. And one of the Rain guys, one of their crew said, well, our boys have offered their guitars, and which was very, very kind, Brett Kingman and Josh Owen. And as much as I love Brett and everything like that, Josh Owen had in the early 70s Gibson Gold Top Deluxe.
Nice.
I went, well,
Nice.
if it's at all possible that I might be able to borrow the Gold Top, then I think I might just do that. And it was a dream. It was a beautiful guitar. Yeah. Yeah, he does his own work, and he's fretted it with stainless steel frets, and this thing just played like butter.
Wow.
E flat, 10 to 46, man, it was a dream. And just the pickups were a little lower output. It was a little bit more vintage sounding.
Okay.
But still had plenty of pops, it was still nice and bright.
Mm-hmm.
And I chased that thing around for 40 minutes that day, man. It was unreal.
That's cool.
It was really good. Yeah.
That's a happy ending.
I'm still at home on the Grubisa guitars, but it was interesting to do it on a different instrument, gives you a different kind of perspective of it.
Totally, because you're still rocking that Grubisa like nobody's business.
Yeah, man. The number one is 27 years old now.
Wow.
It's been stolen. It's been broken. It's lived more of a life than I have. But yeah, and still, I used it in the studio today. I was in the studio all day today and playing this guy's project, and does the job. Good cleans, good dirts, good everything. Yeah.
Awesome. What did Suze use when her guitar didn't turn up?
She used, I think, one of Brett's tellies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
She didn't have her usual telly, which has got an interesting story as well. That telly was Suze, the one that she plays now, was used in Walk the Line as a prop. That Joaquin Phoenix movie, and so really? Joaquin Phoenix has played this guitar.
That's cool.
So it's got a bit of vibe about it, Yeah, it's got a bit of Providence. Yeah, it's got a pretty bad relic job on it, but because it was a prop. But it's a Fender. Yeah, it's a Fender Blackguard telly. Yeah.
Very cool. I saw you've got an 84 Les Paul Custom. That's a recent sort of thing for you?
It is. Well, it was actually left to me by a guy that used to play in a band with my brother. Who'd passed away, and I got a contact by their singer, whom I hadn't spoken to for quite a while. Mm-hmm. And he said, "I got Bino's guitar up here, and I reckon he would want you to have it." Well, I will very graciously be the custodian of it for the time being. Wow. Absolutely, yeah. It's a sweet guitar too, man. It sounds unbelievable. Uh-huh. It's heavy, so it's an 84 custom, so it's like made of lead.
Yeah,
but it sounds like a dream.
Yeah,
sounds really good.
So it's worth it. The Norland era. Hey, they were heavy Les Pauls.
It's even got the little handles that you pull out where you can wind the tuning pegs. There's a little pull-out handle.
Oh, really?
It's got all mod cons, man. Yeah, it's really good. It just adds to the weight of it,
Yeah. Is there any other gear you're excited about at the moment? So when you said you've gone back to pedals, apart from the M9, what else have you got on that stop?
I've got a Bogner Lagrange pedal.
Oh, yeah.
Which I really love, which is the main drive, which is really versatile and great. And it's pretty low gainy, I use it try and sort of keep it relatively, that's crunch rather than fizz. Uh-huh. I'm loving my Melbourne amp, Melbourne Amp Company. I've been using that a bit lately too. And I recently acquired a Victory V140 Super Duchess.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, which is 100 watt, 4 6L6s. It's like a British voice twin.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's cool.
I use that in the Sydney gigs and everything like that. And it loves pedals. It loves the drives, and it's really sweet. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, man. What are you going to do, Yeah. This is the last amp I'm ever going to buy. Yeah, until the next one.
Sure. That's true. That's how it goes. Dave.
I've been lucky, man. I've got some, I've got an MI Audio Iron Duke and a Reynolds, 501 head. I've been pretty fortunate with the gear I've acquired over the years. Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. And man, you're flying the flag for some great Australian companies there too. Yeah.
Well, you talk to the guy that makes the amp, it's a pretty cool thing, you know. It's not a bought off the shelf thing. That's what I love about the Gribis guitars too. Because you talk to Frank about it, and you know, take a neck and say, "Can you make the neck the same as this neck? Because I really love this neck," you know, and all that sort of stuff, you know.
Yeah, cool.
It's really it's worth it, you know. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Dave, thanks so much for talking. It's super cool to have you back on the show, and then obviously to hear about all the truck stuff going on. So I'll pop all the truck links in the show notes so people can check that out. People should definitely check out the new single Lucky and last year's single Make Hay, both great tunes, and keep an eye out for all the future stuff coming in. Dave, thanks so much.
Good on you. Thanks.
All right, there you go. Dave Leslie on the Guitar Speak podcast. What a treat to have him back. Great friend of the show, and really cool to talk with him. Super inspiring. Please check out the links to Truck in the show notes. And of course, look out for Dave on tour with the Baby Animals as well. My thanks to Fretboard Biology, wonderful partners with the show, sponsoring us for almost 2 years now. Check out that fantastic online guitar course. Links are in the show notes. Hey, my name is Matt Wakeling. You've been listening to the Guitar Speak podcast. I'm super thrilled that you've been tuning in, and I'd like to leave you with the words of wisdom, of course, from our friend from episode 150, Michael Schenker, who told us,
keep rocking, keep on rocking.
Keep on rocking indeed. I'll catch you next time.